Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over the NBA slate for tonight, maybe a little bit of the NHL as well. Um, and we have some very similar issues still to be resolved as we did yesterday. I want to talk through this Orlando thing again, and only because it's getting just no ownership. So I want to talk through that. And there is also still a little bit of news left to be decided. Still have Drew Holiday listed as questionable for openers. You have, actually Jamal Murray is now probable, so that's good. There was a couple of others. I was waiting to see what would happen with Tari Eason, because I believe that if Tari Eason were going to be ruled out again, I would probably go right back to the Whitmore play. So those are things we're waiting for. I guess we're sort of waiting for Nets starting lineups. The reason why is you have all these Nets that are out. Like Cam Johnson is out, Cam Thompson remains out, and you're getting to all this Brooklyn as a result of it. Shake Milton, right now, is looking like the strong play. In addition to that, you have these, boy, oh boy. Daron Sharp is 3,800. You have, what's Claxton? Claxton, his price is 5,300. He's looking really good. Noah Clowney's looking good. But I do think that some amount of that is going to be driven by the starting lineup. I mean, it's possible that the Nets put out this other guy who's 3K that from UVA, actually. When someone went to UVA, if we get Reese Beekman in the game somehow, can't believe he's actually in the NBA, much less in play maybe in a DraftKings slate, which is also extremely strange because he has like 0 fantasy points for the season, pretty much. He's played a total of 3, 7, 8, 10, 11 minutes. So I don't see the variation where he starts, but you never know. They just got him on whatever, like 12 days ago. So maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. The thing I wanted to mention about the Orlando is, again, these two plays, this Traveling Queen, so to speak. Traveling Queen and Tristan, whatever. Oh, Holiday is out? Okay, so that's actually a big deal. We'll take a look at that. Thank you, K9. So we'll run those again probably in about 20 minutes or so. But the Traveling Queen, I mean, since they messed with these rotations, he's done nothing but play massive minutes. I mean, he's played 34 minutes on the 23rd, and then he played 37 minutes last night. That's really unlucky. When you play a guy like this and he gets 37 minutes and only 20 fantasy points, it's not like he's terrible. I mean, I can't imagine projecting him for less than 32 minutes again. And yet, let me just take a look. I mean, I take a look at the actual projections. What am I getting here from him? I mean, nothing. Getting 30 minutes. All right, that's at least. What's that, 30 minutes? Is that what I'm saying? Yeah, that sounds. But isn't that light? 30. I mean, shouldn't he be playing 30? Shouldn't he be projecting for 32, 33 minutes? I would think. But they're just not for some reason. Now, they did move him up in price, so he's not the lock or anything like that. But still 23 fantasy points, 5.3x. But you know what? I guess he is getting owned somewhat at this point. So it's not as if 15% ownership. I think that's probably about fair. So I'm not going to force him in like I did yesterday. And the Trent De Silva, again, depending on how things go, I mean, he's boy, he's getting no ownership. So I think I might do it. I might just make sure to get like double digits of both these guys, just to be on brand, so to speak. Knicks will probably end up with nothing. Boston, as you mentioned, if what's his name is out, like the Holiday, I'm sure he's out. If you guys are saying so, let me just. Not that one. No, I want the Discord. Sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's out. Yay. Yeah, Drew Holiday is in fact out, and Porzingis is out. Aha. Well. So now we're going to be back to Pritchard and other stuff. So we'll rerun the checks. Yeah, but MJ Vandy, I am in that thing, and we're going live at 11 p.m. to sweat those lobbies, as I kind of put out earlier. And it's an interesting time to go live with it because that last game has got quite a bit of value. So I think that it's going to be very, it's going to be a key determinant of what goes on. This news, Kevin Porter Jr., a late addition to the injury report, that's no bargain. You might end up with maybe some Chris Dunn business. Not to mention, obviously, Powell, 7,300 Powell, still impossible to get my head around. But so we'll keep an eye on that one. But again, to make things sort of easy, so Golden State still has those same values I talked about before, right? Podziemski, even healed to some degree, but Draymond, I think, is out too. Yeah, he's not going to play. So you have Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis. These guys are going to be very strong. Schroeder, Wiggins, certainly. So all these Golden State guys with the Clippers in like the late night hammer is going to be pretty interesting. So there's definite value there. There's no real value, I think, in Dallas Phoenix, except let's see what happens with Derek Lively. If Derek Lively gets ruled out, then Gafford becomes very strong, like it or not. So going backwards, Golden State, guest starters matter somewhat, but you're going to want to play a bunch of those guys. Clippers with Porter maybe out. It's going to boost Harden. It's going to boost Chris Dunn. So this Golden State LAC game is big. Dallas, we're waiting on what's his face? Who does it? Gafford. Jokic is a good play, but aside from him, there's not much in that game. Memphis is all kinds of like funky value over there. With Aldama out, you got Jake LaRavia, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., like all of this. Not to mention Wells, Kennard. This is a big source of value. Minnesota, not much, but for Houston, again, we're waiting to see what happens with Tari Eason. If Tari Eason is out, I would go back to Cam Whitmore. San Antonio, Brooklyn, there's all kinds of value coming from Brooklyn, again, depending on what the starters are. But even still, and regardless of who they are, you're going to have probably Shake Milton. Oh, my God, and Dorian Finney-Smith could be out. But then you're going to have Clowney, Claxton, Dayron Sharp. Pretty much everybody who's suiting up tonight is in play. And on the other side of that, you have, what's his name? You have Wemby, again, who's certainly doesn't project as well as Jokic, but he's going to be lower owned. He certainly has very similar upside, at least. And then the normal guys that show up for San Antonio, that being Devin Vassell, maybe even Jeremy Sohan. Indiana, I'm really not getting any of that, but Boston, like we just said, with Porzingis is out. Then Horford, Cornette, they're going to all get bumps, and we're going to redo these. And then the Knicks just fall by the wayside. And then you have those 2 Orlando guys. So again, if you're going to build like a player pool, I think I just keep doing it this way. Because we are going to update the projections in a minute, but I just kind of want to wait. Again, go back and forth. Orlando, those 2 shooting guards. No Indiana. Boston, definitely people. We'll get to who in a minute. San Antonio and Brooklyn, for sure, both sides. Minnesota, nope. Houston, depends on Eason. Memphis, all that value. New Orleans, nothing. Cleveland, Denver, nothing except for Jokic. Dallas, I would only play for this game, probably Gafford, if Lively's out. Phoenix probably won't get to anything. Golden State, all those guys, and the Clippers. So you can build like a 30-person pool pretty easily here. The one I would say is Kyrie Irving. He is, I think he kind of fits in at 8,300. So what you probably want to do. Let's take a look at SaberSim and see if anything has changed as far as projections go. I don't think they can until they have starters, right? Let's just take a look and see if anything was updated. I mean, until the Nets get some kind of starting lineup here, can't really know for sure. And Dorian Finney-Smith remains out. So just going to have to wait on all that. What is Boston going to look like here? So Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Pritchard's going to move to 23, I guess. This doesn't sound right, though. I think that Cornette is going to definitely have to get a bigger projection than this. With respect to the hockey, by the way, I just want to show everybody what I did get to after all this. There's a lot of ways you could go, and at the end of the day, I ended up in Nashville and Dallas as my 2 top owned, followed by Boston and a pretty contrarian San Jose stack, like very, very late at night, and then Vancouver as well. So this is where I kind of ended up. I did a mixture of just regular Saber score and the Sims, and this is just where I ended up. So, I did my thing where I reduced my exposure to 5-2s, 4s, 3s, and 6s. So I'm just going to rerun the projections again. As we just kind of wait. Other news that came in for football is J.K. Dobbins was in fact ruled in. I struggled over that when I did the Saturday preview earlier today. But him being in, I mean, I think that makes neither of those running backs particularly playable. Dobbins and what's his name? I forget. Vidal. But I still think that Ramondre Stevenson and the New England offense is going to be a very underowned. Also take a look at the horse racing, which is starting soon. Third race there. So we're running one more set of projections here, but it's still gonna be early, right? Let's see, what else do we have? What other news is coming across the wires? Nothing. Just waiting on starters. Again, for those who are just joining us for the first time, we're waiting on starters, waiting on updated projections for the Celtics, I guess. Still monitoring this Orlando thing, just trying to see if we get any kind of color from there. See if Saberson was updated. Let's see, Cornette's up to 20. All right, so that's been updated. So I presume that most places are going to have this updated by now. 1% ownership, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's got to get higher owned. Pritchard that's going to be higher owned as well. And again, another thing you could do in the NBA is you could, I think what I was going to do before all this new value came out or might come out, I was going to do a third of my lineups with Jokic, a third of them with Wemby, and a third of them with zero. Just to kind of, I just think that it's silly to say, but I think one of those things happens, right? Either Wemby goes off at lower ownership than Jokic, or Jokic just does his thing, or kind of they both bust, which is less likely. But I do want to get 33% of the lineups with that. So I might end up just doing that. Is just kind of run the 5,000 lineups and then just play, since I play 50 lineups, like 17 with Jokic, 17 with Wemby, and 17 with neither. Let's go back to Discord. Still nothing. And I'll do another hockey build here in a second once these projections are run. So again, just heads up, guys, I'm not going to be available next week starting Tuesday. Actually, Thursday, sorry. Thursday through the weekend. Let's see. And unfortunately, this is kind of what the deal is with how you play NBA. You just kind of wait for like quite a while. But again, I'm going to do the new NHL projection, so at least maybe we'll do something useful while I'm waiting for this news to come in. See anything else come in? Let's see any Memphis. Let's see what some Memphis projections look like. At least some Saberson before we. I think so. Yeah, good conditions here. Sure, thank you. Edie Wells. Wells is an interesting case. He doesn't like all these guys. Look at all these value guys from Memphis. Oh, more news. So keep forgetting. Like Jay Huff, whether he's in or not, is going to affect some of these things. Scotty Pippen Jr. coming off the bench. Yeah, he's not projecting all that great. Bain, I guess, is okay, but just don't think that's the answer tonight. I think there's just way too much value to go screw around with that stuff. Let's see what else. Let's see the Celtics again. So, not surprisingly, Tatum gets a little bump. He's got 50. 50 points. That's a nice projection. But Pritchard gets the bump, but how good is Pritchard at 5,700 really? So now we have to kind of think about the timing of all this, because the only game that's going to be going off soon is the Knicks. When I say the Knicks, I mean Orlando, because I'm only really interested in two players in that game. Those two, De Silva and Queen. I'll probably get. I don't think I need to play with my big buy-ins, but I think it's fair to force in like 15% of each of them in the lotteries. I think that's fair. All right, so I just ran again just for the hell of it. We set a projection. Let's do hockey first. We can do them all, but let's see something. NHL. Okay. Let's see if I still get the same Nashville stuff. No, hockey's so crazy. And compared to the NBA, like, unless you get a big projection change, you're gonna get the same pretty much builds all day long. But hockey, one tiny little change in your settings, and your whole portfolio just gets completely decimated. Tomorrow we have the games at 1 o'clock, 4:30 and 8. So I'll probably go online at like 12 and go through all that. But expect for me to be recommending that first game, regardless of whether the projections want me to. I just think there's so much leverage there. I'm just kind of forced to on a 3-game slate. Hold on. Why am I getting this note? Oh, because Drew Holiday's out. He's in my lineups. I'll take care of that. Don't worry. All right, so I just did the hockey lineups. Hang on. I'll do the NBA. Oops. And here, we'll have a little inside look. So we're going to watch me actually upload the projections to the site. All right. right, so the NHL projections are firing up there. And again, for those of you just joining, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do the live sweat tonight of that 2,500 lobby. Obviously, hopefully, we're a part of it. That would obviously be nice. All right, so we're uploading the hockey projections here while we're waiting for news to come in for basketball. And we're just going to rebuild. So again, we put our projections in. We built 5,000 lineups. And the only thing we're going to want are those 6-0s, 5-3s, 5-2s, and 4-3 stacks. So as opposed to the way we usually do it, this time we're actually doing it, I think, from the beginning. I think. Like you'll see under stack exposure. Oh, no, I didn't restrict it. All right, so let's see what becomes of that, actually. That's going to be interesting. Okay, NBA is done. Hold on. Let's run the NBA FanDuel one sec. So we'll take a look, and under stack exposure, we are getting mostly 5-2s and 5s or whatever. So let's run the so before we ran the Sims for the hockey, we're getting 54% Vancouver, 32% Columbus, 28% Colorado. So let's keep those first of all. But again, we're only going to want 5-2s, 6s, and 4-3s. So we just literally X these out. I know it's 6:30. Got plenty of time. No sweat. Let's get back to the hockey. And then again, Vegas certainly makes sense. Biggest total, right? But I wonder if we are gonna get that when we sim these things. Let's just save these for now. And again, we made sure that we put the best line up into the energy line, that being the biggest buy-in. Let's go to, now let's run these contest sims and see if anything changes. I presume it's going to look completely different. That's why hockey's so bizarre. And then we'll upload the NBA things. We'll run those again. So pretty similar, actually. So yeah, we're gonna roll with these. We'll get rid of the three threes though. All right, I kind of like this. Even there's a few 3-3-2s. Aside from that, we're all good. And you'll see my exposures getting Vegas, Columbus, Boston, Colorado. Makes sense to me. Download. And that means, again, the live sweat is real because that Vegas game is late. All right. We're going to check and see if you guys have any questions. Sorry, I was ignoring you for just a little bit. First of all, let's see any news. One sec. Doesn't look like anything. Still no Celtics news. All right. Oh, let me share my screen. Oh, I thought it was sharing the whole time. So funny. What do I know? Yeah. So to see what I ended up with. Well, I thought we had. This was 626. Let's take a look at the exposures here for the hockey. That was weird because I think it. Yeah, so we're getting all kinds of San Jose, actually. All kinds of San Jose leverage, which is going to be pretty interesting. So I'll see what becomes of it. As opposed to where was I getting the? Oh, I was getting the Vancouver because, excuse me, the Vegas because I was going to do Sabre score, right? So it really depends on how you want to do this. Boy. Yeah, I think we are going to actually go with Sabre score tonight. I think it's going to make a little more sense. You can't sleep when games are still going? No, of course not. I'm not one of those people. One of those people that puts in their lineups and then doesn't check till the next day. Are you kidding? I mean, Kevin, you don't remember? Like the poker, I had 100 guys playing in the World Series. We couldn't sleep until the last person reported. I couldn't, at least. So the last person called the hotline 2 a.m. to say they had 5 big lines. I'm not going to sleep. You kidding me? Sleep? Sleep when I'm dead. Okay. So anything else from Celtics or anything like that? Just nothing. So let's just see. First of all, let's upload these to the site. So it was really funny, Kevin. You know who I spoke to today? I had a conference call with somebody else, and Cal Spears from Pocket Fives / Roto Grinder / Gambly / everything, obviously. And we were reminiscing about the Pocket Five days, and it was really funny. I reminded him of the story that back in 2004, 2005, the way the original the black starting. All right, that makes me feel better. Okay, is that the original rankings for Pocket Fives? I remember I was on a phone call. I was in my office in the city with Cal and Adam, and I remember distinctly. There's a speakerphone, and they were literally asking me who's good. Hey, is this guy good? Who's good? And I'm like, well, this guy's pretty good. And then Cliff was like, this guy's pretty good too. And then that basically became the first Pocket Fives rankings. All the way back from right in the day. Always very scientific. Always very scientific. Thank you, K9. Lineups are in for Knicks Magic. So Black is starting instead of whom? Instead of Queen? Or instead of De Silva? That's the important question. Because I'm probably just going to X that game out now. Save myself some time. Let's just take a look. So Queen is out. All right, good. Okay. Well, not out. He's just not starting. He's out of play. De Silva, unfortunately, still remains in play. Although it is a back-to-back, so I don't think I'm going to force him in. If I get there, I get there. As a matter of fact, I should probably force him out. So if we get rid of, thank you, MC. So if we just literally X out these teams, perfect, K9, perfect. De Silva, De Silva's going to be good for 32 minutes, I think. Is that enough on this kind of slate? I don't think so. So we'll get rid of that one. And aside from that, we'll keep everything the same. These in here. And we'll build these. And again, we have to remember to watch for the Houston news again. Remember? And I remember to do it last night. I was able to force in the Cam Whitmore after that news came out. So I'm going to do that again. Same thing. If we can get that news and remember. So we just got to remember to do it. And then Brooklyn starters are going to matter as well. But at least Xing out, at least not worrying about the Orlando thing, at least buys us some time. So let's see what we get. Now, again, I really think at the end of the day, you're going to want this Golden State thing. Let's just see what I get, without doing anything. So we don't do anything. We don't sim or anything like that. What do we get? We get, well, obviously, we're looking at that. All this Jokic, then there's Tatum. So I would want to make sure that in the big buy-ins, I get Wemby. So this was my plan before, is to go 33% Wemby, okay, and then we do a max 33%. Well, not a max 33%, but okay, so 51% Jokic. So that means 51% Jokic, 33% Wemby, and 17% neither of them. I think I want to do even less Jokic. What I want to do, I think what I want to do is 33% of Jokic, 33% of Wemby, and perfect, and 33% neither. I think that's kind of what I wanted to do here. Right now, I'm getting a little bit too much Tatum for my liking, but it can't be that bad. So let's run we'll run the Sims. It's an awful lot of this Shake Milton, and yeah, I think this looks better actually. Brandon Clark, that's an interesting it's an interesting one to get a lot of. See, this is what I think I want. I think these are all really good. Whole bunch of Golden State. It allows you to be flexible. It's like right now, it's not going to remotely look like this, but just for the hell of it, in the big buy-in, like right now, I presume I have like a lot of Golden States or whatever. Yeah, so I'm getting 3 Golden States. Powell, that's an interesting one to have. On this one, I'm getting actually Wemby. All right, so this is pretty different. If I kind of just close my eyes and just kind of stick with this, just kind of really requires to close my eyes and do that. We'll just see if I actually do that. And then, there's gonna be so much late swapping that who knows what I'm gonna actually end up with at the end of the day. But all right, so let's do FanDuel. Same thing. I think we can X out these first 2 games. And again, we have to remember to check on the on the Rockets later to make sure that Eason is, well, whether he's playing or not. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Kevin, that's it. I'm doing this right now. Okay. Let's see what FanDuel looks like if it looks any different. And again, this is all speculation. You know, I'm getting all this Shake Milton, presuming like all kinds of stuff, like 67% Shake Milton, 71% Keon Johnson. I mean, is that really what I'm going to do? We're just going to have to see the starters and just kind of rerun this. Do I like Schroeder in a vacuum? That sounds like a band. Excuse me, you like Schroeder in a vacuum? Yeah, I saw them at the CBGBs back in the 70s. They were really, really good. But to answer your question, I mean, honestly, it's the exact opposite. I don't like him just kind of in a vacuum. I'd like him as part of this whole value piece. You know, this whole value as part of a bunch of them from that game. And we'll put the monster on top of this one. Yeah, Shake, Kuminga, Claxton. It's the same. It's the same crew. It's the same crew. I have to say that I don't know if you play this tournament, Kevin, but if you play DraftKings, I know you like to play FanDuel, but play DraftKings, I think I would like to hand my Showtime trophy to you. Like if you play that single entry, I think you're going to win that one. I won that last night, literally for no reason. No, I do not want to stop my edits. Finney Smith is in. Well, that is actually a thing, right? I mean, if Finney Smith is in, then I imagine those Nets guys are going to be a little less attractive, right? Clownies and the whatevers. Aside from that, I'm going to let you guys go. I think I've kind of laid out what we're going to be looking for. Again, just to reiterate, watch now for those Brooklyn starters. Watch for Gafford if what's his name's out. If Lively's out, I would play Gafford. And watch for Eason if he's out. If he's out, probably going to want to play Whitmore. And so as a result, you might want to push back some of this Brooklyn stuff a little bit later. But until then, I'm going to get going. I'll see you guys if you're there. I'm going to do the live sweat at 11. Hopefully we got something to root for. Worst case, we'll take a look at the football again for tomorrow. And